Hi, my lovely spectators. Didi here. Welcome to my studio. So I am doing a video today, again, for the 3 under 30. I'm going to be using Sevenplaza's denim and lace freebie. I'm using multiples of this sheet. Well, no, one of these sheets, but I could use multiples. But I am using multiples of this sheet. So I've been getting some really positive feedback, some positive critiques. We're all doing this challenge in different ways, and we are trying to figure out what works. We want to make content. I know I want to make content that is engaging for you guys, maybe inspirational, trying to get something new out of the situation. But I believe that, Margaret once said it, that, there's only so many ways you can fold a piece of paper. So today I'm gonna look at this piece of paper, and we all see this piece of paper, and I'm gonna give you some ideas and some hopefully some inspiration, and I'll show you how to do a couple of things, and I think it'll be at least 3 things, so it should satisfy the challenge collab that has been put forth to us. If the fan is loud and it is bothering you, let me know in the comments, because it is way humid here in New York. So I need my little Nico on me so that I can breathe. All right, I am gonna keep to the thing, put the challenge. I got my 30 seconds. I think it's in the screen. Maybe not. Maybe here. Maybe there. I don't know. So my 30. I'm gonna use a cutting board, because I did have to cut off these. You will need to use a cutting board for that, or a knife and a ruler, and some glue will be used, and I am going to ink a little bit with the iced spruce from the distressing from Tim Holtz, of course. A little piece of washi or just regular tape is fine. I have this tag maker and a corner rounder as well that will be used or has been used in some of this process. Okay, so we're gonna start. Okay, so basically I want to talk about today is, like, when we see these digitals that these lovely creators who are doing digitals are making for us, we may not see past what they appear to be. Meaning, these all are beautiful little envelopes, sides of the envelope, right? The front facing of the envelopes. And they look pretty. And our first intention would be to cut them out, right? And make a little cluster. So something along the lines of this, right? And this is the standard go-to. We will create this base. I'm a little crooked, but anyway, we'll create the base and we'll add more embellishments and everything like that. So there's nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly fine. And it's an easy go-to, an easy way to have a little something on the page. You could even just glue it on part, make it a tuck spot, right? Very versatile, okay? Some of us may say, oh, I see a column, right? I see columns here. And maybe they'll take the initiative of, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a tag. And so they'll cut straight down one of the columns like I did here and make a tag. So again, using the corner chomper thingy and a hole punch, which was somewhere around here. Because it looks the width of a standard tag, right? It's got that vibe. And maybe that came to you. So now you have a tag. I just put this little thing here. This is actually to hold clothing onto a price tag onto your clothing, or like a designer tag. It some of the stuff that I buy comes from Bloom Chic, and this little side pops out. Now it won't pop out. Like that, and then put it back in. I tried to order some, but once you put the ones that I got from Amazon in, they don't pop out. So, but anyway, it's a little simple. You could put ribbon, you could put a yarn. I just didn't have anything readily available, so I just grabbed this because I took this off the dress I'm wearing today. Anyway, so you make a tag, right? Fine, acceptable, nothing's wrong with that. Now, you'll notice also, I didn't address it, but the top and the bottom have the white because for us in the US, even though this is the US freebie, these parts showed up when I tried to print. I put it fit to screen and the edges were able to do the full on to the edge, but the sides are short, which again wasn't bothering me. I just cut it out. Okay, now I also cut out the tags, which I'm just using these tags as a way to demonstrate some of the things that I'm talking about. I forgot to punch this hole, not that I need to because I'm not using them, but it's going to bother me that it's there. Okay, so there you go. Right, okay. So the page of tags also did the same thing. It completely had these lines. So cutting this out and cutting this out to a narrower set, right? So I would have something like this. Okay. So you look at this and there's nothing really special about it except that it's beautiful. And you look at the tags that you cut and there's nothing, you know, whatever. I could ink them all up and stuff like that. But what I said to myself was like, you know, these go together. And I said, how can I put them together in another way? So all I did was, and you can't really see it here, is I took a blade on my straight edge and I cut a slot on top of each of the envelopes so that I can stick these little guys in here. So look, we can also take any kind of page that has envelopes like this, because you know most of the time you will get a digital that has a good amount of things in it, and sometimes you know they will incorporate the things you know we use: tags, labels, envelopes, and they may put envelopes all on one page, right? So I could easily have this put. Now of course this is really wide because it is on the full 11 inches, right? And I can put one in every single back of every single pocket of every single envelope. Now on the back, you'll see that they kind of are flopping, right? Of course, when you glue them down, they're not going to flop. If you're afraid of them going all the way down, then what you need to do is you can glue across the cut line. So where the tag is coming out, so you can put one in there, right? And then you can say, okay, I'm going to put some glue here. This is the bottom. And then I'm going to put some glue here so that the tags can come through. And then these tags will stop at that glue line, right? And you can put some more glue over here. And so you can then also put behind here as a little tuck. I don't have any more because that's all of them cut out. So this is an idea as well of how a little project, I guess, whatever you want to call it, that you can utilize this page of envelopes in a different way. So let's go on to something else that we can do when we look at this, right? So I'm going to take these bad boys out for now because I'm going to use them again and do a few more things. Whew, little sniffles. Okay, when I look at this, the other thing that I saw, right, was besides cutting them like this, right, and I could have 1, 2, 3, 4 tags, right, with all these beautiful envelopes on there. I also said, what would happen if I cut them like this, right? 1, 2, 3. So I would get this little overhang. And it's cute and it's nice and we can tuck it onto our journals and stuff like that. But it would, you know, there's no pocket on here, whatever. We could add some embellishments, of course. But what would make this stay with the book is to create a hidden paperclip. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is you need a piece of blank, any kind of scrap, and your paper clip. I like the jumbo ones. you make sure that it is longer, right, than the jumbo ones, and you slide it on. Okay, that's it. You open up your excuse me, your little flappy thing here. You place that so that the top of the paper clip is practically there, and you practically to the fold, and then you're going to add glue all the way down, and a good amount here because you do not want this moving. Okay, you're going to then bring this to close for a moment. Now mine is not arc little glue, so I need a little bit longer than a moment. Let's see. Yes, okay, it's still gluing, but once you have done that, the other thing that you want to do is take a piece of washi, something small, get it up in here and put it here as an added protection. Because when you slide your paper clip onto the page, you don't want anything catching and then messing up the whole system. So now that side is gluing and it's drying and it's setting. So we're going to do the other side. Okay. So what I would do is I would take the washi, the little piece, and I would go under and stick this there. So now this guy's already there waiting for me to put the adhesive that I'm going to use on this side. Okay. And now I'm going to just press them down. Okay. Now they should have lined up when you cut them, right? And they're going to still line up. The bulk of the paper clip may bother and like kind of bow everything out. But remember, this is going over a paper, so you're not going to see the back. So if it's slightly off, that's not a big deal. Okay. All right. So we want to look in here and everything looks like it's glued down nicely. Then we'll look over here. It's still not, so I have to hold on to it just a little bit longer. Okay. So now you have your hidden paper clip, right? And let me get something to slip it on. You think I would have learned by now, right? This right here. So you go like this and you slip it on. And there you go. You have your paper clip. It's not going anywhere. And then, because the envelopes, right, if you have it on this one, then you maybe even want to put it on the side of your journal this way where the envelope is facing upwards, so you can actually put it there, right? So that's another thing that you could do. Maybe you didn't think of taking two of them on the long and creating this versatile hidden paper clip, right? You can do a number of things to this. I made two others, right? I did the same thing that I did here. This one is inked, so this one also the same construction. You put your little paper in there. So we've got our paper clip. This. Oh, jeez. Okay. We got that. You could also round the corners. I thought I would do a version like that so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so we can round the corners. Let me turn this over so you can see the shape there. You also could possibly do the corners as the little square, or if you wanted to do it like almost like a ticket, that's another option. Let's see, do I have my little punch in the ticket to see how that looks? Yes, let's try it. Let's try it together. So this is the other punch. I did get these from Temu. So I'm going to use this one here, the one that's in the front. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to punch off that. I'm going to punch off that side. I'm going to go down here, punch off the corner. And I'm going to go down here. Let me try to get the corners together. If not, I'll do them individually because they are kind of off. That one and then this one. Okay, so that is a kind of a tickety kind of vibe, but you could also take the hole punch and see where it's connected here and then just go halfway. I don't know if you can see halfway, and then punch there and then halfway here and try to line it up and punch there. Okay, so now you've got a tickety looking version. I have some ink to ink over here, and then I'll put it on the paper and we'll take a look. Okay, so that's another way to kind of look at some of these envelope situations and change them into something new. Now, of course, we're folding them. They're not exactly the same. So when I put this one on here, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay, on that side, right? On this side, it's a little up on the envelope. That doesn't bother me because I could actually embellish over here something and kind of hide that. Over here, it looks more perfect, but unfortunately, I have the I'll turn it over so you can see. I have the design is obscuring that, right? So that's cute, you know. Changing up the shape of the corners can really change up the whole look of everything. Okay, so that's another way to look at this page. Okay, I'm gonna take these off. So I've got two more ideas. Okay, so my other thing was that I could start thinking about maybe using more than just one column. So tag, right, or paper clip. So what if I took two of these together, right? So if I took two of these together, for example, like this, right? Then I could fold them up around the corners, right? And I have this little booklet. Now, if you wanted to put paper in here and make this a super narrow journal and tuck it into a pocket in the overall place, wherever you're doing it, journal. But you could also put it at the edge and then make it a full-on pocket. Glue it here, glue it here, glue it there, and glue it there. And then you have a pocket on both sides that have three little envelopes as decor. And again, embellish, right? If you put it down here, maybe you just put glue here and here and you make it a tuck spot. Glue there and there, and that's also a tuck spot. Or you could even use this as a flap and attach something else coming out this way. So you are not going to just have some generic piece of paper. You have something with a little more of design. Okay, so you can also make a side gripping edge pocket tuck, whatchamacallit. So there's that. And then, of course, if I'm using one, then two columns, then what can I do with more of it? So that's when I cut this one up, put this over here, and I cut it like this, right? And then I folded it in half, and now I have a journal cover. So I cut this like this, I have a journal cover. So given if you're in the US, this is going to be 11, right? So my board is up to 12. So this is 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. And then the width-wise is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a quarter. So I need paper in here. Now you can go get your book pages and stuff like that. I happen to have some paper that I got from a what do you call it? Thrift store that was parchment paper. It has these lines because it's for a brochure. That doesn't bother me because we're going to put more onto the thing itself. But I need to cut this down in order to fit this into my journal. So the journal was 6 1/4. I think I'm going to do 5 and let's see, 5 3/4. Yeah, 5 3/4. Okay, so I have 3, 4 of these. I'm gonna put 2 to the side. I'm gonna cut 5 1/2. Cut 2 of them, 5 3/4. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna be able to just fold it in half. Both of them, right? Make a signature here. And then it'll fit nicely. Okay, so now we know that that's going to happen because the 11 and all the folds are going to pull it out. But I like the distance from the top to the bottom. We can adjust this with some trimming. Okay, so let's adjust that. Let's take off, I'm going to take off like 1/2 inch while it's folded. Okay. Okay, that was a little too thick, the 4 sheets. So let me do it one more time without the extra bulk. Okay. So now let's see how this fits. We're going to put this in here, and it fits good. Maybe a little bit longer for your liking. Then you can adjust by taking some of this off. That's up to you. You play with it as you go. Okay, so this was then, let me double check because I don't want to mess with it too much. This is now 10 inches. So probably 10.5 would have been a better one. So that's 2 of the pages. I'm going to take the other 2 pages and I'm going to cut it at 10.5. Okay. So the reason I'm going to cut it at 10.5 and not cut the height first is because we're going to make some pockets. So 10.5, let's hope that that's good, right? I'm going to cut this edge off. Okay. And then I'm going to mark this, the height of the other one. So I'm taking the other pair and putting it on top. And I need a pencil. Okay. So I need the pencil. And I'm going to just mark it right there. Okay. And I'm going to now cut it. Not cut it. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it at the mark. So let me see the mark so I can fold it, right? So, and let me move this out your way. So I'm not using my scoreboard. I have the mark. I'm making sure that this lines up with the paper behind it. And then I'm just going to start to bring my finger across it, pushing it down, and that aligns up here. And if I want to reinforce that a little bit, there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to fold it in half so that it can be part of that signature. Here we go. Okay. So we have another page. Let's do that again. Let's see how that looks. Okay. So we're going to put that in there. Okay. And we've got those 2 pages. We've got that here. Obviously, we're going to need to glue. So might as well. I'm going to glue this down. On this side. Okay. And while I'm here, before we do the other one, let's glue this guy as well. Okay. All right. So we're going to make one more page. So again, we're going to take our height. We need our height measurement. Right? So we're going to mark it down here. Okay, we're going to put that on the side. We're going to look for our little mark. Fold it on that little mark. Line up this edge over here. Unless you want to take it to a scoreboard, that's fine. And then slowly bring your fingers down. And it should line up nicely. And then we're going to do that. Okay. And this time around, I'm going to glue this. Let me glue it now, right away. Okay, we're going to glue this pocket shut. So at this point, we're going to stick it in there. If we wanted to, we could fold it, we could cut it, we could reverse one of the pockets. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to fold it the opposite way. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay. Okay, so this guy was folded with the pockets being on the outside. This one, I want the fold with the pockets being on the inside. So what I'm going to do is hopefully that glue is going to keep everything in place. I'm going to line up my edge and I'm going to fold right like that. Okay. And so now we have the pockets on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I think I want the pocket on the inside to be the first page. Then I will have a regular page. Then I will have the pockets on the outside. Then I will have another page. So there is my signature. So I have several pockets in here as well as some pages that are blank, and we can decorate all we want. Now we need to put the signature in there. Right now, as a new crafter, I'm preferring to use, what do you call it? Oh my goodness, I lost it. Okay. I'm preferring to use elastic to, you know, do this. This is not elastic. This is a large rubber band. Can't find my little elastic. Anyway, so elastic like this, right? Of course, this is, like I said, too long. You want elastic to hold your signature in place. I wouldn't normally use black. You would tie off your elastic. So let's pretend we're gonna use this rubber band, right? Okay, and your elastic is going to be, you can put the knot of your elastic wherever you want. If you want to put it on the bottom and then have some extra hanging off, you could add dangles to it. You could move it to the center, the same thing. Why do I like the elastic? Because if I want to work on a page, I could pull the page out, no problem. So we can also see these as a cover, okay? So now we have a bunch of projects from that same page, and let's all put them together. So I'm just trying to put this glue in here. So we're going to have, okay, so this one has a pocket. So maybe I don't put anything right here right now. This one needs something, so I'm gonna put the paper clip that I made that goes like this. You know, now of course this is exaggerative. You know, maybe you can do it smaller in a smaller paper clip, right? So the paper clip can go in there. There's another pocket here. Where's my tag? Here's my tag. Now of course it's longer than what I expected, but I'm saying that you could put a tag in there. Excuse me. Where's my original? Yep, here's my original cluster. Right, I could put that in here. I'll glue it down. So I'm just going to glue it on those sides right there and put it right here. And then, you know, put more stuff, you could stamp, etc., etc. Maybe you want to gift the tag, the person, the other paper clip, and so you just put it inside the pocket, right, the tuck spot. Here we have another blank page, right? And so maybe on this pocket here, I want to put the paper clip holder this way. So you have that variety of what's going on here, right? This guy, remember this was a pocket. Now, unfortunately, excuse me, it's too long for this one. So, but you get the idea. I could take this and I could put it on this one here, like a pocket, right? And I can just glue it in. And on this side. Okay. And so I'm going to try to center it, because what's going to actually happen here is that when I set up my pocket, stand it up, it's actually the same height as the cover. And then this one, I can actually just do another pocket right here. Okay, so far everything that we were able to see from that page has been put in here, right? So that, looking at that, you can see versatility. You know, hopefully I've inspired you to see some versatility. The only one we haven't put, where is it? Is the one with the slices through it, right? So if the page were big enough, which it's not because it's been cut, right? But I can take one of them. So I'm gonna take out one, and we're gonna attach it to. We're gonna attach it to the okay. No, I'm gonna hope that it doesn't mess up the other side of the design, because I'm trying. So what I'm trying to do is look for the little slices that I made that were on top of the envelope, and I'm trying to cut between. So let's see how good that was. Okay, it wasn't bad. So I have my slices. I have glue space, right? I can do that a couple times and put a few of them here and there in the inside the actual journal. So let's find a place to stick this. This is a pocket already. That's that. Da, 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 da. This is the thing. This is that. This is a pocket. All right, back here. Let's put it here. Right? Oh, it's also too long. Okay, but you have the idea, right? Because so I'm gonna just cut this guy off from here and here. Okay, so we'll make adjustments for the size of your journal, of course. Okay, but I'm still going to show you the gluing process. So I know this is going to go here, so I want to glue on the bottom edge so nothing falls out. I'm going to glue up the sides, both sides. And then because my tag is going to come this way, right? If you stick your finger in there, then you know that you need to glue across this one here. Excuse me. So now we find a spot, put them right here in the corner, and we have ourselves a nice little thing. And if I wanted to, I could maybe use this for embellishment or something, but it could be used someplace else. It could be used as part of another cluster in this particular case. So let me get my tags. So we're going to be able to put a tag here and a tag there. Right? And there you go, guys. This is my journal with a bunch of ideas for the different projects that you could make out of a sheet that you wouldn't think normally could be more than just an envelope, right? But if you have and you've done any of this, by all means, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what your process was, what you were thinking. So let's do a little flip through, right? So we have a cover made out of the envelope page. So we used half of that and we folded it. We made a cluster out of actually cutting out the different envelopes. And then we also cut across to make paper clips, hidden paper clips. So we have one there, one here. Okay, because I have them cut, we have a pocket here from the fold of the signature. We're going to put some in the pocket. We have a paper clip holding that. We have a huge tag, which we could cut down. You could fold this up like this and make it a little pocket on the back of this and then fit it in here. That's an option as well. And then we have the side. So let's stick a guy in there so we know that that's a pocket. Okay, we have one on this side, so hello. Blank page, another paper clip here, the other side of the paper clip. This is also a pocket over here. This is a blank page, there's a pocket here, and then we have our page with the pieces that were made into little pockets by slicing through the overall design. Okay, so we tap it up. So good. We have ourselves the beginnings of a nice little journal. Even if the sizes are a little off, sometimes that's fine, but I got a nice little start and I can embellish it and keep it going. So I think that this is hopefully been a better video for some of you, and that you've gotten some information and some inspiration, and maybe you will look at pages a little differently than in the past. So if you are enjoying what you see, sorry about what you hear because I have like a little tickle, then by all means please like, subscribe, get notifications on, so when I throw up my next video you can come take a look at what I'm doing and maybe get some more inspiration. But until then, I guess I'll see you later. Bye bye. Ciao.